Good morning, traders. Welcome to our Asian session. We will also record this as a daily webinar for installment traders, and we will record this as the weekly outlook for the YouTube viewers. For my YouTube viewers, if you missed the last week, we did an entire week of free live access to the trading room. If you missed it, it's recorded. It's on YouTube. Please go watch the videos. They're pretty interesting. If you like what I do, that is. And we're also starting a course next Monday. It's a live trading course. If you would like to join us, send me a Skype message. The Skype is in the description. If you can't find the description, it's type MANGAL 457. Right? There is no website. There is no Telegram channel. There is no WhatsApp because another trader, Oscar, went and did the same thing after we showed the last time the Telegram channel, how much channels are in my name that doesn't belong to me. He went and he Googled it and he sent me the snapshot where there's like a lot of them with my photograph on it, but they don't belong to me. And it seems like I may be popular. I didn't know that I was that popular that people would copy my image and open sites and open all kinds of stuff with it. You know, selling all kinds of stuff to one guy was selling some kind of a thing he created, but using my name for it. I'm not selling anybody anything, please. The only thing you can do is you can join my group to learn to become a professional trader. That's all. There's nothing else. I'm not selling you anything. Nowhere. So the only place you have access to me if you want to join me is in this group. Send me a Skype message and I will give you access to this group where I do it live 3-4 times a day. Nowhere else you're going to find me selling you anything. I will never, ever send you an email asking you to buy anything from me. Never. That's not going to happen. If it hasn't happened for 7 years, it's not going to happen tomorrow. I don't change my ways in a minute, right? It's not going to happen. I'm not going to ask you to send me money and that will double within a week. Like, you join this thing, pay $300, you're going to, that's never going to happen. The only way you can ever have access to me is in this group right here. Anything else you see outside it might have my name. It's my videos that I do for free. If it's not my voice in that video, it's not me. That's it. Period. People might copy my videos and give it to you. Well, that's up to them. I mean, if it's my free videos, I have no problem. But if they're stealing anything from me and sell, well, that's up to them. That they have to live with that. Right? I always say you have to wake up in the morning and watch yourself in the mirror. I do that every morning, and I'm pretty proud of who I am. Right? If you can watch in the mirror and be proud of who you are, then great. Continue doing what you're doing. Right? So if anybody is to solicit any kind of that type of selling you something in my name, it's not me. The only way I would give you information about my course is if you send me a Skype message. Nowhere else. Exactly on that Skype ID. If you send me on Facebook, I'll tell you to Skype me. If you write me an email, I'll tell you to Skype me. The reason is because the Skype messages are saved. And if 2 years after we have to go back to it, it's there. I can tell you one guy is trying to join the course for the last 5 years. And he wants to join full time. And he's again asking me some nonsense again about, the course again. And I'm looking through the message that he's been asking the same questions for 5 years. Like, dude, you should have been a successful trader already. I didn't even merit the time to answer him on the Skype this time because I think it's a waste of my time. Right? If 5 years is taking you to make a decision to join this group, you don't belong to the group. That's it. Sometimes I can be really harsh. I know that. But it's about your intelligence. I don't have the time. If you take 5 years to join the group, imagine how long I'll need to train you to be a wave trader. I personally don't have that time. I don't know if I'm going to live that long. So if you take 5 years just to decide on joining the group, then you have a problem. You don't need to be here. So I'm okay with that. I'll live with that, right? As one guy once wrote when he saw somebody made a video bad about me. He said, oh, thank God I didn't join him. Thank God you didn't. I actually said to him, thank God you didn't join me. Because if that is what you believe, if that's what you're seeing and you make your decision on one video you saw about me without looking at my work, then definitely you're not the person I need in my group. So, like I said, sometimes I can be harsh, but those are truth and they're the real stuff, right? So I don't have the time to sugarcoat anything. You want to be a professional trader, you want to learn to trade, join us. You want to do something else out there, it's up to you. Your choice is yours. Let's go. Dollar index. We're going to go dollar index. Yeah, for our traders, it's starting Monday, and I will give you all the details in the group. So just so you know that Monday, 6 a.m. New York time, we're starting. the details of what we're going to do and how we're going to do, don't worry. You should start watching. If you're in my group, start watching those 3 past recordings. Start from the very first one, because the first one is the technical analysis and all the stuff of how you're going to use them. The second one is patterns, how to recognize patterns, how to understand how it develop. And the third one is how to trade the patterns, right? So watch all 3, and we will, if you have any questions, we will answer them. So don't worry, just watch them and make notes, take questions. So dollar index, we're still in the consolidation. And remember when it started, one of the things we said is that this will define the up or the downside. It all depends on what happens here. And that is how you know, because over the weekend, somebody was asking me a question about, I can't remember what was it and where I think it was going to go. And I was like, well, we don't know as yet. Right? Then he was like, that's what you guys do. How you don't know as yet? Well, I said, because the pattern is not defined, whether it's the up or the downside. I said that it can go both ways. And it's not a wave trader. It's just a general friend of mine, personally. And you could see the total confusion in the person. I thought you guys trade every day. I was like, that's exactly what we do. We trade every day, right? But I was at a birthday party. Yes, my son friend has a birthday party, and we were just sitting. And this is a person I know for a while, because my son is in this. The 2 children are in the same class. His son, my son, in the same class. So he was like, I thought you guys trade every day. I said, exactly. That's what we do. But you just can't tell the direction. The people are used to saying, hey, I think dollar is going to go up, or I think euro is going to fall. And they're happy with that, the simple explanation. And I say, well, it's a little more complex than that, because it can do both. It can drop, it can go up, but we trade whatever we get for the day, right? So basically, it doesn't matter to us whether it goes up or go down. This now, the more it stays here, the more we are convinced of at least one more impulse. At least one more impulse. Now, one more impulse doesn't mean totally breaking the stop, because we could still make an impulse and still stay in a correction that stays at the bottom here, right? You could still make an impulse here. This could stay here, and we don't know how long this will stay. We don't know how deep it's going to come. And the depth will tell us whether we are staying here or whether we are going up to the top. So as of now, we will make the assumption we are going up to the top, because this is sharp and we're consolidating here. So we're assuming that we'll go back to the top. Let's see if that proves to be true, because we don't know how deep this will go. And I do think we have more consolidation here. If we were going out of this consolidation, we probably would be going out already, because you do have 1, 2, 3. Once they're staying like this, it means that we'll probably stay here for a while more. And the depth, well, we don't know. We don't care. Actually, we want it to drop because we'll be selling. So I think the first trade we will get this week might be a buy. This looks like a sell setup here, but it might be short term. I think all of this might be part of the correction. If this is the top, we will consider this sell, right? So we'll make the first assumption that's the top. I don't think it is. This looks very corrective, right? This piece looks very corrective. So whatever this was, go there, come here, go back there, it's coming here. We could end up going this and, stay in some kind of an expansion here and then go out. I don't think we're dropping. So the question is, if we get a sell setup here, should we take it at bottom? We did break the top. Should we take the sell setup? If you look at it in the 15 minutes, there was a flat here, there's a flat here. I don't think we should sell it. It's not like you're going to lose anything. If it's going to be a sell, let it drop through the bottom. Let this piece drop through the structure, maybe even all through this. Or if it comes out of this structure and consolidate, we start selling. Because this next drop will break through the impulse, and that will confirm the downside for us. Right? If it stays here and just break the low and decide to go back up, we're buying for sure. So if we get any buy setup, we'll take it. Any sell setup at the bottom here, we'll consider. Can we buy this piece to go back up? Now, that is a good one. And that has always been the question when you're trading corrections, right? We know we're in a correction. Is that, should you have bought this? And if you buy that, would you keep it to the top here? And the answer is no. If you do that, you're likely going to keep this one as well. When it comes back here, you will likely still keep it. Instead of selling it here, which is what we were doing, you would still keep the buy, because you kept it through this, you kept it through this, why not keep it through this? Right? Any trader who say to you, well, I actually bought it here and I closed it here, is partially lying to you, mostly fully lying to you. Because if you kept this pullback and you kept this pullback, there's no reason why you wouldn't keep this pullback, because your thought process is this is going to go on more until it drop here and then your stop is here. Well, if you're not keeping a stop there, you're risking your entire account. Right? The risk is pretty great if you're not keeping a stop there. So the same thing comes here. Should we buy this? because it's definitely going to break the top. I can tell you that. It might break the top and pull back. It might go again, break the top and pull back. That's what I'm just copying what it did here. And it might even go break the top again and then pull back. So if we see this, our thought process, well, we will do exactly what we did here. We look for a sell setup to go down to break the lows. Come and break the low and then go back up. Right? It's a simple thing. We would assume that this consolidation is still ongoing. If it comes here, it probably will go back up a few times more and then go. Right? What if it stays here further? What if it doesn't go higher? It just stops here, break the top and start coming down. Can we consider the sell here? Well, this is where your skill level comes in. If you're skillful enough, you should take that trade. Because once it breaks through this, it might break and turn, but you can get out of the trade. But you have to be good at it. Right? If you're new, if you panic when the trade is going against you, if you can't close the trade easily, there are many factors, which means if you're not ready for it, don't do it. If it goes higher, we'll sell. Should we buy it? No. I don't think we should buy this yet. We'll wait to see how this consolidation develops, and then we consider to buy. Again, it doesn't mean that no one should buy it because it's too risky. And again, can you close your trade there? If you can, then take the trade. Right? You can trade anywhere as long as you can manage it. If you can't manage it, well, then I think this was the sell we didn't take again because we assumed that it could come here and go back. But once it breaks here and consolidates, you're in the sell, which would be the game, right? You should be selling this or selling this. So the first entry should have been here. If it stays here more than what we expect, we close it and re-enter. I can actually put it to the hourly and see whether that would be a close and re-enter. Yes, that would be a close and re-enter. You would definitely, most likely. It actually dropped, maybe not. If you're in the trade, you probably wouldn't close it. If you're actually in this trade here, and this was the low and it made 1, 2, and then start dropping, you probably wouldn't close it. Right? So if you saw the 15-minute flat like this as a correction and you sell it, that's a good trade. You probably would be with it. Right? But even if you close and re-enter, you're in the trade. So the selling of here might not be, and I said again, if you took it, can you manage it to close? You should have closed it here and then re-enter here. So an entry out of here or an entry out of here was a good trade. As long as you break the low. Again, the same thing we always say, wait for it to break that and then go. So this was a simple flat. It's way too simple. But that was all we have. Put it in the 1 hour. Let's see where we are. Okay, nothing new here. Pretty much what we expect. The only thing I thought it will have more pieces in it. Right, when I was putting it, I thought it would probably come here, go back up, make a few more. Well, it's simple, so we drop there. I think at some point now we start looking for divergence because we're looking for a turning point, right? For this one up. It looks like we might not have that. We do have divergence, let's see. As of now, we have divergence, but if this drop anymore, that divergence go away. Divergence go away doesn't mean that you sell immediately. It means that any pullback, more downside is possible. And that might be very true because this could be internal. This could be an internal correction, not the equivalent of this. So if you're making internal corrections, then you can make another one here equal to that one and drop again. Right? So if we see this starting to make that, first, we could consider the buy. We will consider the buy because we'll assume that they're doing this. So any buy setup, we'll take it. Any sell setup, you want a little correction, at least something like this before you sell. So if we get something like that now, we sell because we don't know how low this would go. We're still in this correction. See, we're still in that whole thing. And we're making a pretty deep one here. And the deeper you go into this, right, the deeper you go into this, the more, if this is corrective, it will go back up. And then we might come back to this flat and this flat. Right, we might come back to the fact that you got to move down, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, probably get a 1, 2, 3 here and then up. Right, if that happens. We don't know that as yet, but if that happens, we'll bring this back to this one. We were looking at this because this had the bigger flat in it than these, right? But if this pattern turns out to be exactly the same as this one, which means this comes down slowly here and then go back up, we will go with this as a flat. Simply because it's flatter and these are the sharper ones. So at some point you come back here and then we go up. That would complete the pattern by then. Can it fall through the entire bottom? I think it could, but that would be rare. Let's see. We'll come back to that if it happens. So right now, if we get any flag, we sell. If we get any correction, we sell. If we get a buy setup, we'll take it. We'll take the trade because this move is possible. It will still come down back, but first it will do this. Because I think that is pretty sharp. And I don't see anything else to go with it. So if we get any buy setup here, we're taking that trade, hoping that it's going to go to the top. We'll manage it. A consolidation here, we sell. So both sides open right now because you're in the middle of a consolidation. This one, I think this was the sell. If we had sold it, we didn't sell that. So a gold, I think we sold. This one, we will keep an eye here. This would be a sell setup because it already came back to the bottom. So once it goes back there and do this, this would be a sell setup. Somewhere there we'll get a, once it go back for the third piece, we'll go with the sell. This is dropping a lot. And at some point, you're going to stop to make a deeper correction. This is a sharp one, relatively sharp. We might get similar to that, just like in silver. This one is relatively sharp. So we're expecting a sharp move up in silver, a sharp move up in gold. That is correcting these, and then the continuation to the downside. On the gold one, we broke out, but expanding flats do exist, right? And like I said, sometimes I'd like to make some real nice fun. My good friend, who is one of my students, still not selling gold. I hope he starts selling it now. Hope he learned his lesson. He didn't learn it the first time. He's going to learn it the second time. So he's watched my videos. I know he does. So please don't say you will never sell gold. Just keep selling it. You might make some money selling it, right? At least you'll know you learned something from me. So it's amazing when people do those things, right? So come on, don't. It's a good sell setup. If it's correcting this move or it's possible that it's going to make an expanding flat, why not sell it? He probably didn't see that, but that's okay. Now you see it. Euro. So we will sell because this thing could come all the way back to the bottom. I mentioned that in the video when I did the gold thing, and it's coming down. We don't know that it doesn't retest the low. You never know it, especially if there's a possibility for that. Keep that possibility open. Keep your mind open. You're not bullish. You're not bearish. You're trading what you have for the day. Because the minute you set your bias to one side, it's hard to trade the other side, even if it's right in front of your face. And it's the best setup you would ever have in your life. You still wouldn't be able to trade because what you're trading is your bias, right? As long as you set that bias. The idea of doing analysis is to create a bias, right? You're saying, I believe this is going to go up. And why you believe is what creates the bias, but the bias is you believe it's going to go up. And if somebody says sell it, it's pretty impossible to do. It's pretty hard to do once you create the bias. Because any downside, you'll be telling yourself, oh, no, well, it'll just go down a little and now it's going to go up. So I'm waiting for that. And that happened to us. We didn't buy euro yen, but I didn't buy it not because I didn't think it wasn't going to go up. I just wanted this piece before I buy it. And look where it is. And like I said, sometimes, remember this, I said you could buy once and break the top and consolidate. You can buy if you want. You can buy if you want. But there's a risk to it. There's a pretty good risk to it. So we're not buying because we didn't think it's going to go. We're taking because there's a risk to it that I don't think is worth taking. And if I see this again, I would repeat that. There are many times when this happened, when the running flat become more extended than you expected, but you're not in the trade. And that's okay. That's a conscious decision, right? But it's because we have a bias. And I still have the bias, and I will still have the bias if I see another running flat forming tomorrow. I might still have the same bias that, this is a running flat. There's a risk it could drop suddenly and you might take a loss instead of a win. And I would not buy it. Why? Because I know those patterns exist. The extension of that pattern is rare. It's not as common as we think it is. When you get a perfect setup, though, you can trade it. Like this one probably would be a buy. This one, no, because this one was actually, we're expecting it to drop from there. So maybe one or two trades in this, you'll take, the rest you wouldn't. So that's the whole point. As long as you create that bias, it's hard to get rid of. It's the reason why people do things. Even they know it's not right to do, it's wrong or it's something, because they've created that bias in their head that this is what you should do, and they do it. You look at it and say, well, what a stupid guy. Why would you do that? And well, he has got it in his head. It's a normal thing for him. It's not normal for you. It's not normal for us, right? So don't create biases in advance. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you to trade. And traders do that, especially if they watch news and all of this stuff, because the news said, hey, this is going to happen, euro is going to go up, and you get a perfect sell setup, and what happened? You can't sell it. You can't, because in your head, you're thinking, well, it's going to go up, right? So why should I sell it? So what we have here is dropping, but still in consolidation. Like I said, they could stay here for a long time. I think dollar is going to stay here. I think euro is going to stay here. This looks like we're going to eventually go back up, most likely downside first, but it's not dropping the way we expected, sharp. It stopped. I thought this one would drop through the bottom, and then it went up, make a flat. This should have dropped through the bottom. That didn't happen. Now we're making a bigger consolidation. So we've got this sharp move here, which means whatever this does, it will go up. It will probably come back sharp here and go back up. Give us another flat here before we drop. We'll sell it. We'll take the sell and see how far it goes. The question is, do we want to buy here? I don't think it's worth it. Because you can see that this is already looking, the depth of this pullback tells us it looks more like a consolidation rather than an impulse to the upside, right? Because they made a move up, they dropped, they made a deep one, and this one is not exactly going up sharp to tell you that, hey, this is a good buy. But it's likely going to go higher. I think this would likely go higher. We might get a sudden drop again. I wouldn't be surprised. If we get that and we get a buy setup at the bottom here, well, then yes, that is worth taking. You'll probably get about 30, 40 pips. That's a range. Because that might be the only trade you'll get for a day, 30 pips range. So if you get a flag here, you get about 25 pips to get, maybe 20 pips with a 15 pip stop. So that might be the only trade. Buying it at the top of the structure is not a good idea. Right? Let it come back, make the flat, and then if there's one more move up and you want to buy, we can do that. All depends also on whether we have news at the moment, because sometimes you see a buy, but there's news and it's not worth taking. So today would be what? Quiet, pretty quiet. Canadian bank holidays, so, well, Canada doesn't really move the market that much. So that's not a problem. This is going to come here. Right? We can see this coming here, but I don't think it's dropping. We didn't break the top, so it will go back up. Depends on how low again. Then we'll decide if we want to buy it. Sideways. Okay, Pong actually moved up pretty high, and we're consolidating at the top part of that move. So can we buy the Pong if we get a Pong buy? Yeah, I think we should. If we get a Pong buy set up here, we should take it, as long as it stays there. Right? Because Pong has been dropping really sharp. There is a running flat here. You probably wouldn't see it like that, but you can see it, right? This one here. Right? There's a running flat in there. It hasn't been going down as impulsive as we wanted it to go, but much faster than the euro has been moving. See, euro has been making big pullback. Pong has been going much faster. So the question is, will this go back up deep, make a bigger correction? Or is it actually going to go back all the way to the top? Remember, there's a chance we can repeat this. 1, 2, 3. So if we're going to repeat it, this could be the first piece of a possible flat forming here, right? Before it comes back here, give you this flat, and then go. So I think we could take that trade and see what happens to it. Right? If we get a buy setup, that might be the best buy setup to take, because what if the first one is actually sharp back to the top and then you get the correction, right? That happens sometimes. You get two sharp moves. This one actually does this and then start correcting like this, and we get this, and then we get this, and then we go. It will be pretty much the same thing as this. Time-wise, it might be the same. So if we get a buy setup here, we could take it. If it becomes a break even, it's a break even, but so far it's a good one. So we can put an entry order here to buy. And then wait to see what happens, because I like it. Let's see where this goes. I think we can manage our way out of this trade should it not go. We can get it for positive, because the impulse is pretty huge. It's like this. Big impulse, small flag, see they drop nicely. You don't have to worry about the first pullback. We wouldn't be worried about the first pullback. If it's in a consolidation, it will stay there for a while, so you have enough time to break even. Aussie. If it goes slow, take it off, right? The idea is if it goes slow, take it, we're consolidating. If it makes a sharp impulse, that's a trade. So this would be a buy setup, maybe the first trade for the day that has something. Sorry, Aussie. Aussie kind of broke the low. If you're in the trade, well, that was Friday afternoon. This one, and I think this was in the news, so we should have been out of it. Can't remember why we put it solo. It has to be news, right? If you're putting it like this range away from price, which was here, then it's a news, and you should be out of it. So I think that is not normal thing. Take that out. It did make a flat. It did drop. It did break the low. It's going back up. Let's see where we are in the bigger picture. I don't think we're going back up. I think we might end up taking this expanding flat there, and this is coming down pretty sharp, but I can see a correction, a bigger correction forming here before we drop. So if we get a buy setup, should we take it? I think we should. Pretty much like the Pong. It's not exactly the same thing, but it looks like they're going to try to consolidate here. And if we get that flat there, that's a buy setup. We should take it. This one is a little slow, but market was slow this morning. So I like that trade. We can take that trade to the upside. I don't think this is ready. Don't put the entry order here because remember, we didn't break this low. The first move downwards would be this one. And we didn't break the low. So I would let it go there and then pull back first. And then we look for a buy setup. It would make sense that way because if this tags you and drag, you don't want that to happen. Right? That would not be a good idea. So we're looking for a buy setup. New Zealand. Nope, I don't think we will take this one. The same thing, you would have closed this trade. I think it's also the news. We'd have closed that trade. But I don't think we'll take this one. And I think these are separate flats. Right? These are not the same. They're separate smaller flats. Because we didn't break that up. And it looks like we're making a separate, bigger flat here. See this one? This one is consolidating here. Do I like the sell? Nope. Do I like the buy? No. So we wait. Let it make more, if this drops here, if this drop here, there's a sell setup here. And if it drops here, we'll be in this. Now, this would either be a channel, or if it goes back to the top there, a running flat for downside. I think it'll have to go back because this is the B part, right? And this is the bigger B part. I don't think if you can take a chance and sell this if you want, if you think that is the end of the running flat, right? So we could probably look at it this way. I don't think the end of it. I think it's more of a channel. Correction, drop, correction. This could be a 1, 2, 3. This is the big correction, drop, big correction. So you'll be connecting these two. Actually, right? Then we'll be connecting these two. So this is the internal one with a 1, 2, 3 inside. Correction, correction. So you probably get a 1, 2, 3 here too. And then either correction or reversal. If it drops through, well, then we go with that as a running flat. But I don't think that's a running flat. So we could go with a sell here. It's pretty small risk, right? You don't want it to break that up. If it breaks that up, you're out of it. And we're going with this piece only with the intention that it's going to drop, right? The intention that it's going to drop back to this low within the channel. So you can put an entry order here, put an entry order there, put a stop just above the top. And the trade is only to get it to this one, to break this low. And once it does that, if it goes through, you stay with it. If it comes back up, you get the hell out of it, and we look for a buy setup. It's more of a channel. Again, it's not, this is the sharp part, so it's not a running flat. This is kind of correction there, and this should probably drop. Let's see. Could be a running flat, who knows? So the sell is a good idea. This one is a sell. This sell is going to happen first because Aussie is not going to go. Aussie need to come down back, right? Aussie need to make this consolidation here and drop back for this piece. So Aussie drop is not to break the low because this is an impulse. But New Zealand drop is to break the low because it's a different pattern, right? This drop is actually not to make a flat, but actually to break this low because it's within this pattern. If it doesn't, we get break even. But the idea is that this drop is a better sell than the Aussie. Same for Euro Pound, they're all in consolidation. Yen, well, you should be buying. Like I said, you can buy all the small ones and hold on to it. 1 or 2 of them, hold on to them because they will go. And we broke the top finally. So the next big question is, are we going to break this top? Or are we reversing? Right? From that point, we do have divergence. I know we will. There's no question in that. And we have this big divergence. That is not going to go away. This is not going to go away. And we have the bigger divergence in the daily. That is not going to go away either. Right, that internal divergence, nothing of those are going away. So the question is now we're at the top. Do we break this top? And if we break that up, what would be the pattern? So if we break that up, we're looking for 2 things. Either this is part of the weekly running flat, and this one will continue to go higher, which means we'll keep buying, because you're buying this right now. Or it's a running flat. It will stop, turn, and drop. If it doesn't break the top and drop, well, definitely it's a flat for upside. It's a flat which will drop down and then go back up. So it doesn't matter to us whether it breaks the top or not, but I think buying now should stop unless we get a really good flag. Don't buy the smaller ones like this you would have bought, this you would have bought. Don't buy. Wait until this actually makes a big one and then buy. You want to be sure that it is going to break the top and it will give you break even in the case it reversed. But any sell setup, absolutely we're in for it. Sorry, guys. Any sell setup we're taking. And as a matter of fact, we can repeat what we did a few times, is you can put the sell here. I think this would be the last impulse on the day, on the hourly, right? And the 15, there might be a smaller impulse here, but I really don't want the 15, I want the hourly one. So we can put an impulse of sell if there should be a sudden drop. That is only if there's going to be a sudden drop. So that impulse has nothing to do with what we're trading for the day. We might get a buy setup here, but you can still leave that there. And then we'll move it upwards. So sometimes that helps because you get one big drop. We know this thing can drop suddenly. It did before, right? It did when this dropped. So, and this one was really a big drop too. There was a first sharp drop. See the sharp drop there? And then there was another sharp drop. So if you're going to get a first sharp drop here, it could drop from here and drop through the whole structure. So in that case, that ensures that top there makes sense. So I'll take off the buy, which was from last week. Take off that buy, and we're putting that sell. You know how to manage the trade like that. You know where to take it off. If it's coming down slowly, take it off. Swiss. So we're not putting a sell because that's a totally different strategy. Swiss, you should have been out of it. And well, it didn't break the top, so we're making another flat here, and that's not a running flat. We'll go with the expanding flat. This is another flat, and we'll go with the expansion. We had the expansion, we took it out. We assume it's making a running flat. It's not a running flat. You're making another one here. So you're going to get 1, 2, 3, you get a 4 here, and then you go for a 5, and then we sell. Can we buy it? Again, it's useless. If you bought this, you probably got breaking. So we'll make an assumption that whatever they're doing here is, they can drop, go back, kind of make a flat here, go up one more, and then we look for the sell. We're looking for this one. Can we buy this? Well, it all depends on where you get it, how you get it, where's the flag, whether you can get a risk or reward in the trade up, and we'll buy it because there's one more up top. This is not the one dropping. If this was the one dropping, I mean, if you had 1, 2, 3, and this was dropping, it would be a flag, not a big flat forming right now. And that there is a huge flat. So we wait. Remember from last week, this has 3 impulses, 1, 2, 3, and we're making the core correction now. So if we wait long enough, we get it. And there will be 3 impulses to trade. Got? Okay, this thing has to break the top before it comes down. What is the point in coming down from now? I think we'll make another flat and go. We have to break that top before we come back. Not this top, this one, because there's one more possible running flat, right? We still have this as an open possible running flat. I would hate to see this as a contracting flat. Not that it's impossible, but literally not what you're expecting, right? So I hope it's a running flat in the future. It wouldn't affect how we trade this, right? It wouldn't affect how we trade this. It's just that we would like to see it as a running flat and not as that. So what you want to see is if this makes a flag here, can we go with this as a running flat here for upside? That's possible. So it has to come here, make a flag, and then buy for the break of this top first, and then maybe that one. Right? You could break both of them and come back. It doesn't matter. This top is not relevant to the pattern we're looking at. Because we eventually will break this top. That is for the big move down. But we can break that up about 5 or 6 times. It doesn't matter. They could go through, come and go and come until we get to the point where they turn. That is a daily and monthly. That's a weekly structure. So right now, I don't think we have a trade. Buying above this top is a bad idea because we don't know for a fact that that's a running flat. This could be a separate correction. This could be a separate correction. If it makes a correction, there we'll buy. If this turns out to be not a running flat, but a separate correction, like you get a big one here and then you go there and come back, we'll definitely buy this. So let's wait and see which one. It's not a trade as it stands. Euros. Well, we're about to break the top. If you took this trade, you should close it and probably look for another buy setup. We look for another buy setup. We can put it here or we can put it above the top. This might be okay. Let me see in the 15. Not as yet. Put it above the top for now. But you will bring it down as soon as we break that low. Right, which is likely going to happen. We'll bring it downwards. And we're looking for one more up. So this would be like a buy setup. I'll put it as active, but it's not yet. Well, it's active above the top, but we bring it down. Euro New Zealand, I think we're going to go up more. The question is whether this is all the correction we take off or it's making a bigger correction, which means this is a 1, 2, 3. And we end up at a correction here. This looks like a running flat. Maybe go back, break the top, come here, go there. give us a running flat, and then go there just like a 1, 2, 3, and then drop back like this. In that case, we'll be with this one, and then the upside. So the first trade we should be looking for is a sell setup, right? That is this move down. We don't have a sell setup here as yet. We actually have more like a buy setup forming. Go up first. So if this turns out to be the running flat, we can put an entry order here, see how far this goes, because this move is pretty big. So what if it goes that much? Then come back here and then go. There'll still be a running flat, and this will still be a good trade. So for now, we should look for a buy setup short term, very short term. I don't like it. We don't have any setup as yet. So let's wait. And if we don't get the buy, we'll look for the sell. Euro yen. Okay, again, we are at the very top of this structure, and this structure is going up quite away from the weekly structure, right? From this weekly top. We've moved quite a lot. We're almost at the top of this one. And I don't think we're expecting it to go that much. What's the bigger structure in this thing? Yeah, I don't think we were expecting it to go there. This was the first move up, and this was the first move down. So all of this is consolidation, which means at some point we have to come back for this one. I don't think we'll come back for this. I think this is a consolidation of its own. So we should come back for this. Go back up. Come back down. Go back up. And be stuck here before we come down back. But this all came from the top. Right? So if you look at it this way, we are making a monthly consolidation. Let's go 3 months. We're in a big monthly consolidation. This thing came from the top there, and we have 2 impulses. We have 1, 2, and we're in this piece here now. Well, more than 2, we should say 3, 4, if we take this to be a correction. So we need the 1 down to complete the flat. We need 1 up to complete that flat. We need this back down to complete this flat. And then we need this one to go back up there before we start repeating this thing down back here. So, I mean, we're just halfway through that structure. So how much years this took is how much years that might take. You can actually check it. This took how much? 0, 0, 23 years? 23 years, yeah. Took 23 years. So that's the forecast for the next 23 years. Let's go back to trading now. That's pretty much it, right? Forecast for the next 23 years. So come back to here, and now that we're that high, we don't need to break this top. There's absolutely no, not that it cannot break the top, but there's no need to break the top, and we broke this already. So, and it still is going to go more because we have a running flat forming at the top here. We have nothing for this one. We're going with this running flat. We're going with this as a consolidation of its own. We have a sharp one here. We need 1 sharp one there. And then we need to go back up 1 more before we decide that it might be dropping. So this one didn't go that far, and that is why I didn't think this one was going to go that far, but it's gone quite a lot, and we don't have anything for this. I would not put these 2 together no matter what. This is really, really sharp. So that is out of the question. Can we put these 2 together? Maybe we could have put these 2 together, but the problem is this one. We don't have anything for that. So that doesn't, well, it depends. If this wick is real, you can make an argument for this piece. If the wick is real. And then you might want to make an argument for these 2. And that still leaves this one out. So by no means that one is fitting anywhere. So we have to get 1. And since it has moved that much, well, there's no point trying to get it there. Right? Unless you get a really good correction and you think there's 100 pip more to go. So we'll wait for the sell setup. EuroCAD. We're definitely waiting for this sell setup because this one is going to come. And just in case you're giving up on the downside, remember how much time you might have given up. Ask yourself, how much time did you give up on the upside of this one happening? Every time we thought it was a buy. Because I can tell you every time we thought this was the buy. 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 And then we got this to be the buy. Once it broke the low, we start thinking one of those are the buy. All those were buy setups. So if you look at all of this, and remember now it's easy, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're like, okay, I can wait for the fifth one. No, it took a while, right? You have to check the time wise and how much trades we put in, and how much we actually took some sells also, right? Before it actually happened, time wise. This one we thought it would happen since September, and it happened in, well, till the end of September, almost about a month. This was the start of September. That was the 14th to the 28th. Yeah, that took about 2 weeks almost before we figure out that it's now turning. The same thing had happened here. We thought it's going to turn from this one here. And then we said, okay, running flat for it to turn, not a running flat, not turning. So this is a correction of its own. I think this will probably go with this as a correction of its own too, as a flat of its own here. Let's see, this could break the top. It likely would, because we already came very much to the top already. So I don't know, we probably make some consolidation here, go break the top and then get the downside. We don't have the downside as yet. Buy setups here are not really the best ones. Wait for the sell. So we'll just wait, basically. Euro Swiss. We're expecting a downside here too, but there's no specific point from where. And we're not sure it's a running flat with that. We're assuming it's a running flat with that, and it looks good for the running flat. On the upside, we have to break out because this is a consolidation and they're actually trying to break out to break the top. So I think very likely we're going to break this top. It's just going very slow. We might end up with another flat. This looks like a little running flat in there. So this one could go. Do we have a buy setup there? I don't think we do. I don't think we have a great buy setup. Not that we don't have a buy setup. We don't have a great buy setup. So like I said, this might be the running flat. There's a chance we're looking at this as a running flat. This here is a flat. Right? And we're going up. So you came, you got a flat. Went up, make a flat, went up, make a flat, went up, make another flat. It's going up again. We don't want to get into another flat, right? I think that 1, 2, 3 is enough. Let it break the top and start dropping. And the top is not very far. The top is right here. So let it break that top and start dropping, and then we look for the sell setup. Just keep it and let it go. If we get a better buy setup, maybe we'll consider it. I don't like that one. Euro pound. Okay, we actually broke the top. So if you're in this buy and it actually doesn't pull back, close the trade. You still have a chance to close the trade with positive, but you should have closed the trade somewhere in here. What is it doing right now? Let's see, in the 15. If this is correct, even if that is not correct, this is a flat. Right, like a 1, 2, 3. It came down and you're doing this. So if this consolidates here back to the bottom, we go back up. And then sell. So most likely we're looking for a sell setup here. It's just not ready. We did break the top, so if you broke the top and come down back, that's okay. Let's see if we get that. It could be in some kind of a channel here. What's in the big picture? Yeah, it could be. Kind of went up, pull back, went up, pull back, go there, maybe one more up and then drop again. So look for that. And I've done all the Euro pairs. So we'll just go do some cryptos and some of the thing that is for YouTube and the rest of it. By the way, if you want to see all the rest of these and more that we have at the bottom here, you can join us live. You know how to do that. Let's go. We're going to look at some of the cryptos, some of the stocks. Let's see some of the stocks. Natural gas. It's going up. So we're going to get this trade. Look for the buy setup. Put it like this. It did tag the low and go up, right? So on the 15, it did tag this low. This wasn't a sell. Remember, we warned about it. It was in the news if you wanted to, right? That it might not really go very far. Flag, flag, flag. Remember, I just showed you 3 flags and said we're not buying it. That I think was a EuroCAD. We're not going to buy it. 1, 2, 3, because it will break the low and turn. So let's hope EuroCAD does exactly the same thing, break the top, turn, and then we're in the trade. This wasn't a perfect flat. Let me see what it looks like on the 5. Even the turn wasn't perfect. You kind of get the turn here. You get a pullback. I think we could go to small flat there. This is some kind of contraction or something. So here's what we're going to do. If we get a flat there, actually, you have a flat you can buy. You could have bought this one on the 15. There was like a small flat here, small running flat. If any one of you took the trade, that's good. You guys took it in the room this morning. Anybody had that buy set up there?
No, we didn't look at this.
This is a good one because the upside is very likely. And especially with that and divergence there, it might have just happened too. So it's still a possible trade, right? And the hourly, you can just put your entry order very close. Wait for a little pullback or you can take the trade from there. Keep a stop under the low. And let's see if we get this one. This is the one we're looking for, right? Get that one up and then downside. It might start to move really fast as well. I wouldn't be surprised to just start moving really fast from now. So that could be a trade. Take this out. That was the sell that didn't go anywhere. Once we get that, then we can start looking for the downside. So it looks like a good buy setup to me. We'll have to put it where it is. If you're taking the trade, you have to put it where it is, or you can wait for a little pullback and take it a few pips lower. Oil. Okay, it made a running flat. This one didn't come from here. It came from here. So running flat and buy. I'll go with this running flat, which means one more up, right? Comes a little more here and then look for one more up. Just one more up, and from that point, it could be a sell. Let's see where this goes. Or it could totally go up, right? This could be a flat that actually takes off like a rocket. So we'll look for two things, a flat for a sell, which means it's going to come back here and drop. We'll sell it here or we'll sell it here, wherever we get it. But if you get a buy setup here, take it. What if it actually does that? Not that we're expecting that exact thing, but it could. We know that this could drop a lot more, right? So I think this sell is a good idea. We could be actually dropping to break the low. So that sell, that buy and then the sell is a good idea. Both ways, one of them will go. Try to get a buy when it comes a little more, maybe, or even if it turns, they'll give you a buy setup, take it. So we're looking for a buy setup first. And then a sell setup. So let me take a second on this, because if you're watching this on YouTube and you probably are not a wave trader, most likely. If you're a wave trader, you follow me, you get what I do. And you're looking at this and you heard the guy said, well, we're looking for a buy setup and then a sell setup. And you're thinking, okay, probably this guy has no idea what he's talking about. And if I have no idea, if I had no knowledge of wave analysis, I would also think this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Right? Why are you talking about buy and sell setup? As one guy said, I think he's hedging his bet just in case it goes down or it goes up. He wants to be right. So I'm going to go into little details for you guys, but you may need to watch a lot more of my videos to understand what we're doing. I'm not going to sell it here. I want it to come a little more. Then I wanted to go up and make a flag, and we will buy this to break this stop. Now, if we're lucky, it takes off. If we're not that lucky, it will stop your turn. We're going to take off this trade, but we'll also be looking for a flag here to sell it to break the low, because it will go break that low. And when it breaks the low, there's no telling how much it's going to drop. So we're looking for one direction where it could go a lot. And because it is so low here, it can go a lot. And again, if I start going into details as to so much reason why, we will end up doing a whole course here. So just to give you an idea, when I say that, my traders understand what I mean, right? We're looking for the buy and then we're looking for the sell. It doesn't mean we're going to sell it immediately. It means we're always looking for the setups. It should it not go. And if you're new and you get confused with that, go watch more of my videos, because then you will see me do that. You'll see me explain it, especially in the live trading video. US 30. Yep, didn't break. So good, it made a new high. We expect this to make a 1, 2, 3 because of the top there, but then it drops so much and start consolidating. And if it does, you will always try to sell it, right? Don't assume that it's going to go back up. It just went up. So, well, we've got a flat and it's at the top there now. We do have divergence. I don't think we're looking for a buy. First, this is really sharp, right? So we could be looking for a bigger running flat pattern, especially with divergence in play. And that means if we get a sell set up here, if this starts making a flag, we assume that they're going to come back to the low here for something like this. Now, if we're wrong about it and this is actually the top of it, then this becomes a good drop for us. If we're right about it, then we go for the running flat possibility and one more up. Can we be wrong about that and this drop a lot? Absolutely. I don't see any reason why we can't be. Not that I'm expecting that. I'm expecting them to go up more. So most likely to just be a consolidation. We're expecting more up, especially with that sharp one. But it could turn into, like, this was a small one, and it could turn into a very big drop and make a bigger consolidation here before we go. So the big drop is worth taking, right? We don't know how deep it's going to come before it becomes a flat. So you see how these pullback were pretty deep on it, all of them. What if this gives a really deep pullback and then make a flat like this before they go? Right? We're not expecting that, but it's possible. So let's see. I think it's worth going for the sell. Wait for that. I'll go back to the 1 hour. Wait for any flag set up here in the 1 hour. Not as big as that. It would be better if you get a smaller one. But if you get a setup here, go for it. If it comes back to the top, you know the rule. Stay out of it. So I'm going to take this out because this is useless. There is a small flag there, but instead of stopping here and drop, they go back up. That would not be a buy setup. So let's wait and see what we get. We're looking for a sell setup. Same here. This one actually broke out and went back up. So can we look at this differently in terms of, this is a flat of its own. So this is out. That was a channel. So we'll remove the channel thing. Assuming you look at each flat separate. So this was a flat, this was a flag, this was a flat. That was an up. No, there's nowhere. Even if you assume that this was the correction, and this is the thing, can we go with this as an expanding flat and not a channel? Let's assume, for example, this. Is that a possibility? Probably hindsight, yes, that could have been a possibility. This was a flag, this was a flag. That was a thing. They dropped, they made it on, come back here, and now we're making this one, which means we broke the top and we have divergence. Look for sell setups. Right? Now that you broke the top and you're getting divergence, look for sell setups. Because you're supposed to break the top and go. Even if we take that to be an expanding flat. And if it makes a flag here, well, simple, we buy. Right? You get a flag there, you buy. It starts coming down, go for the sell. Can this come down one more? I think this one can. Right? We don't have anything for it. Well, we were assuming that these two are equal. Yeah, they're probably equal. These two are probably equal. So this is a 1, 2, 3. This could just be a deeper correction. Drop here, go back up there, come here, make a bigger flat, and then go. So the sell is not a bad idea. Wait for a sell setup. NASDAQ should be the same. This one didn't drop, so take that out. That was a nice flag forming at that time, though, in the 1 hour. That was almost a perfect flag forming. Never broke, it just went right up. So can we put this in an expanding flat? Like this? With a possible flag here? Yeah, that's possible. You do have a lot of it there, right? A lot of consolidation here for possible expanding flat. Sorry, you're saying something. It broke the low, this one. So put it like that. So possible expanding flat. Yeah, I'll go with that. Because most of the corrections are here. This too sharp. This is just a smaller flag. So if we go with an expanding flat and we broke it up, do we have divergence? We have internal divergence. Let's just put it like this. That is a possibility too. Either we go with this one, these two here, or we go with the bigger one. Right? So if it's a bigger one, now we will know. If it is these two, let's say all of them have the same setup, right? So if it is these two, right, this will make a bigger flat here most likely and then go. Because we are going to correct all of this. So a sell setup here is not a bad idea for the first impulse though. If we're wrong about it, then it actually comes much bigger. So, and in any case, it will stop and make flag. So any flag here would be a sell. You can go to 15 minutes flag. You don't need to get a 1 hour flag. Take a 15 minutes flag, sell it. I think all 3 sells are good. Just choose which you like. I like NASDAQ more. Just me, right? Just this one. This pattern seems to make more sense. With this part, this seems more corrected. The rest of them don't have the same pattern. Similar, but not the same, right? Like similar, you can make an argument for that, but I can make an argument for this to be an expanding flat. Right? We can make an argument for this, right? Like 1, 2, 3 for those two to be the flat. Starting from this one, right? With this being a 1, 2, 3 inside. I don't see the same for a possible expanding flat here. For some reason, it's structurally, it could be, but it's structurally not as nice as the other one. Right? It could be, still could be, and you could still drop one more back to the bottom here. So let's see. And US started. Okay, this one is totally different. Structurally, this is totally, this one, that flat looks perfect, so I don't think we'll go with an expanding flat here. Although we can, right? You can go with an expanding flat with that and then this one here. Sorry, take that out. That would be this one. Why not? It's not the best one. I think this pretty much looks much more better. This one here looks better, and that could be a big correction for upside because they'll always also go with this one possibility. Right, this has a big correction here. Let's see. We'll eventually see which is it. And if you look at the bigger picture, it would make more sense for this to go back up, make a deeper correction here, and go back up to the top. Right, so let's see. Take that off, go back. Like I said, NASDAQ might be the best option for the sell, but look for the sell for all of them. Tesla, still the buy setup. If you get a flag here, buy it. Okay, this is coming up. If you get a flag inside, buy it. If this becomes a flag here for upside, buy it. We're making a bigger correction. The flag would be sell, and then you probably get a running flat because this is sharp, so you get a big running flat in the middle before it goes. And this. Yeah, probably should have bought it a little lower because it dropped one more from where we had it. We had it there when this was going up. We were thinking small running flat. It dropped one more. You can actually put it here if you want it. If anybody saw that, then you put it there, great. If not, wait for a flag. Take it out, wait for a flag. Probably make a flag here. So wait for a flag buy. Nifty, sell setup. Look for the sell now. Look for the sell setup because it just broke this top. It's going to drop, make a flag here, go for a trade. So the assumption is that two things you're going to look for. We're going to watch to see if this just drop here and start going back up. We'll go running flat. Wait for that flag, go and trade. If it keeps going, you're coming to break the low. I think most likely it's going to drop. This is a drop, correction, drop, correction, drop. The only thing is that this correction could get more complex. And this one could come here and go back and break the top and then drop. So look for the sell setup and then we'll see what else it comes. Bitcoin. Yeah, that would be a break even, but it's still an upside structure. It still looks upside. The first trade is downside, you need to break this low. But then it's a flat for upside. So I can see this coming here. Most likely this still looks like a flat for upside. And this still looks like a flat there. So it makes sense. Let's see if we get it. Kind of a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then this should probably go back up from there. Let's see. So buy setup, if it's going to drop a lot, then we'll see because we still have this sharp one if this is going to drop a lot. ETH, it's coming down. From that point, the downside is possible. Remember that we don't necessarily have to break the top. It could come down before it breaks the top. And if it comes down before it breaks the top, we'll probably go with an expanding flat here. I'll just move them a little time-wise. See? Same structure, but move it a little time-wise. Because this would be the equivalent of, we'll probably look at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 for this one. So we'll have to come back down for this one and go back up for this one. That is this flat here. And then come back down and then go. Well, if this goes a lot more higher, then we'll come back about this and go. So it'll be more like this. But let's see. Look for sell setups. And I think we do have sell setups in the 1 hour. And the 1 hour does have sell setup. You had a sell setup earlier. That was this one. And now you're getting this one. If it's not dropping really far, I can put an end short on the low here, take off these. Put an end short under the low. If it's not dropping very far, but doing like this, then there's a chance it's going to go one more up, and then we'll relook at the structure. But for now, I think it's a good sell setup. XRP. Yeah, that would be a break even. It's turned out that they're still in here, and this is still downside. So that's one more flat. So it's drop, correction, drop, correction. This one didn't take off, so they take this off. Actually should get a sell setup somewhere here. This could go up a little more. And then drop. Maybe even come back here and go back up and then drop. So could be a bigger one, but this is going to drop. So one more drop and then should be upside, right? If it drops one more like that, should be upside after that, because you're like impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. We'll see divergence here and then upside. So it's a very short trade and then one more up. What's a bigger picture of this? Well, we're coming back to this stop, basically. Right, that's the impulse down. This is the correction up. So there's one more up. One down, then one up. ADA. Okay, this is the point from where this thing can drop, and I think this would be more of a 1, 2, 3, 4 running flat inside. It will go back up one more. Because we're assuming this is two impulses we have, right? We have this one and we have this. I still think this would be the correction here, like a 1, 2, 3. It should come back here. I don't think this is 1, 2, 3. If I'm wrong, they'll break through the low. But if I'm right about it, they wouldn't break through the low. They wouldn't even break this low. It would just come back like about here and then go back up again. That will complete this flat. So you get something like a 1, 2, 3, and then from there downside. In the big picture, that'd just be a flat, right? Within the structure. Yeah, we're still within this thing, right? A little decent. Let's make it like this because this piece is here. And bring it down a little here. You want to carry this up here. Sorry. You want this piece to, yep, like this, more like this. Yep. I think I got it there. Yeah. So you're looking for that, right? This curve here and this one. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes here, go back up, tag the top again, and then drop. That should finish this flat. And then drop like this again. Maybe then it goes up. Because we're just making big flats and drop all the time. Do we get one more of this up and then drop again? We can stay here for a long time. Remember, this could go sideways for a very, very long time. Right? It could just go sideways like this. And then upside. Just started that downside. So all those sideways within this range would be the buy zone. Try to buy from the bottom. BNB. Okay, this is going up, so this should be buy setups at the top, let's see. Okay, we made a top already and we're coming down. Not as aggressive as I'd like it to come, so most likely it could be a deeper correction. If you get flags, sell. If it pulls back, make a flag, sell, because we don't know how far they're going to go drop, right? It's going to go slowly, but it could go down a lot. What else we have? Dash. You broke the top, so I think this whole thing is pretty flat. Once you break the top, you start looking for a sell setup. We don't have a sell setup. We actually have a buy setup. Put an entry here for the sell and see if you can get that trade. It's not a big trade, so this is a channel most likely. Can we assume it's running flat inside? Possible. If this goes up, make a flag buy it. Dot, big picture. You made a top, so if you get a flag sell, if you get something like this, if it makes a flag here, go with that trade for possible this one. And then upside. Right, get a drop, go back up there, drop, go back up there. And this. No, I think this is a separate one. This drop would probably be with this one there. What's the big picture here? This is more upside. And this is the low. The ones with the low are more buy setups. So go for a buy here. This could go quite a lot. This could still be running flat here for upside. So upside, that's a consolidation for upside. Link. Looks like they're consolidating for upside too. I'll go. Same, looks like consolidation for upside, a small flag there. And let's see. This should be upside too. Sorry, guys. Yep. This is more of a consolidation for now. You're probably going to get, this is the impulse. So you probably break the top and drop again. Give us a flat and then go one more up. Is a consolidation for upside. There's a bigger consolidation here for one. Actually, one see if you can get this one from the bottom here, because if it starts to go, it could actually do this. That pattern is very likely going to happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if this consolidation here finish what it's doing and then kind of do this and then take off. After the fact, that would be a good trade. So try to get it to the upside now. We can get it. If you didn't buy from the bottom here when we were saying it's a good buy, which is when it made the new low here. Right? If you didn't get this trade here when it made the new low, try to get it anywhere. If you didn't have any at all, try to get this one here. I think this would make sense. You're still inside of Vido. Well done. Well, Vido, I remember. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, I think you showed us this pattern. Somebody showed us pattern. We got it from the bottom. I think you showed us this pattern from the bottom here, right? Perfect. Good job. See? It's going to go. That spike is going to happen. So well done. You still have my bank account, right? Just trying to, just asking. Oh, you're coming in January. Okay, you can bring it then in cash. Great. At least I know I'm going to have some free dinners and some free breakfasts. Right away, this is your third trip to Dubai, right? The first trip we didn't meet up. We catch up the second, and the first trip my mother died, I actually go to New York. The second trip we catch up, we had fun. This one should be nice because the last time you came summer, this one is winter. This is really nice time. We'll have fun, don't worry. Come. So guys, by the way, any trader, as a matter of fact, any trader coming to Dubai, just give me a message. You don't have to be my trader. Just message me. You're coming. We'll catch up, have coffee, have anything, whatever you guys want to do. I like to meet traders. We talk trading. We show them Dubai a little. Sit down, get some coffee at least. Some advice what to look for in Dubai. So I would see all of you. Let's see. Let me stop the recording, by the way. This is for the, sorry, I forgot we were recording. Stop recording. This is for YouTube viewers. By the way, YouTube viewers, if you watch it today and you like what we do, please share it. Please make sure you watch the full video. Our traders watch the full video. Don't watch us apart. We need the time as well, so that then leave a like, leave a comment, any comment. It doesn't matter. The YouTube video needs the comment more than we need it. So please leave a comment. That will help. Any comment, anything. As long as you put a comment, the YouTube video thinks we're actively doing something. Trade with care. Have a successful week ahead of you. And see all of you next week.